Hello. Today, America, Bloomberg. Fed's Fisher sees minor momentum in economy in his talks with businesses. He's been out there talking to businesses and found minor momentum. Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas President Richard Fisher said he is seeing minor momentum in the US economy, with business officials he talks with saying they are not moving backwards. Clearly the economy is anemic, he said. Our job is to refuel the tanks, and we've done that. Now it's up to the fiscal authorities to do their work, he said. Monetary policy, Fed stuff, can't do any more, finished, over to you, Mr. President, and the Congress, and the Senate, and anybody else who wants to play. Project Syndicate. Joseph Stiglitz to cure the economy. Starts New York. As the economic slump that began in 2007 persists, the question on everyone's mind is obvious. Why? Unless we have a better understanding of the causes of the crisis, we can't implement an effective recovery strategy? ? And so far we have neither. We were told that this was a financial crisis, so governments on both sides of the Atlantic focused on banks. Stimulus programs were sold as being a temporary palliative needed to bridge the gap until the fiscal sector recovered and private lending resumed. But while bank profitability and bonuses have returned, lending has not recovered despite record low long and short-term interest rates from the Fed. And he goes on in his Stiglitz-type way and ends up with, government plays a central role in financing the services that people want, like education and healthcare. The government-financed education and training, in particular, will be critical in restoring competitiveness in Europe and the US, but both have chosen fiscal austerity, all but ensuring that their economies' transitions will be slow. Got a slow transition, baby. The prescription for what ails the global economy follows directly from the diagnosis. Strong government expenditures aimed at facilitating restructuring, promoting energy conservation and reducing inequality, and a reform of the global financial system that creates an alternative to the build-up of reserves. And he's in that almost probably right. Build-up of reserves we did yesterday. Reducing inequality we'll have a stab at later probably. Promoting energy conservation, there's a good idea. I'm not too sure about this facilitating restructuring and government expenditures on education. Yeah, if they did it nicely. Eventually the world's leaders and voters who elect them will come to recognise this. As growth prospects continue to weaken, they will have no choice. But how much pain will we have to bear in the meantime? Well, quite a lot, I think, Joe. And then you've got to really come up with really good ideas that they can go for and real reasons why they're going to work, based on the fact that you've hit them up with great amounts of solid facts and knowledge that you've been right about in the past, so they've got faith in your calls. And meanwhile, PMI, the JPM PMI is out, and this is for the world, the great big round globally world, and you can see the shape of it. Went down in the Great Recession-y thing, came up summertime last year. It looked like it was going down again to the double dipper, but it didn't. It turned and went back up to the second titty mountain, but now it's plunging again down to 50, where it hasn't been since the Great Recession, and before that the recession of 2001, 2, 3, that sort of thing. And this is the Australian PMI that was out yesterday as well, and I'm showing it because I like the fact that they do it in green and gold, but it doesn't look very pretty. You can see it's well below 50 and stepping down. Last 4 reports have been down, 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 down under. What's wrong with that? Oh, don't know. Anyway, these are more PMIs. This all out yesterday. There's a flurry of PMIs that came out yesterday. This is Europe, and look anywhere on the page and find horror shows. Bottom left, manufacturing PMI at 25 months lows. The left-hand looking chart, you can see it's come down through 50. Up at the top right, we've got Germany, the only one above 50, but they're at a 24-month low. Below them, Netherlands, that's Holland, 26-month low. Austria, the same, 26-month low. France, 26th-month low. Ireland, 24-month low. Spain, 27-month low. Greece, only at a 7-month low because they've been rotten earlier. And Italy bucking the trend with a 2-month high, just to be awkward. Typical Italians. And the colourful chart at the bottom showing everybody's gone down below 50, except Germany, who are just hovering above the line. Bloomberg. EU signals bigger losses on Greek bailouts. European governments dropped clues that bondholders may have to take bigger losses on Greek debt in a second aid package, as Greece's deteriorating economic outlook forces bolder steps to quell the fiscal crisis. Well, I'll be. Finance ministers considered reshaping a July deal that foresaw investors contributing €50 billion to a €155 billion rescue. That private sector involvement, which is PSI, when you see PSI, it doesn't mean, what is it for tyres, pumping up tyres? I forget anyway. But in this, when it's talking economy and this sort of thing, it's always private sector involvement. In this case, including debt exchanges and rollovers. This is the 21% the haircut that they wanted them to have, but they've realised that's really not quite enough, and they need to go more of a haircut, closer to 50. This is an article by Marshall Urbach and Warren Mosler on the Euro crisis from an MMT point of view. But I'm only going to give you the title because I like the title. Core Europe, sitting pretty in their pigs-drawn chariot. Good thinking. Der Spiegel article. This is Germany's finance minister going rogue. Wolfgang Schäuble. He used to be regarded as Germany's safest pair of hands when it comes to the Euro crisis. Now, criticism of the finance minister Wolfgang Schäuble is growing with the government parties. Some believe that Schäuble wants to exploit the crisis to push through his vision of a United States of Europe. I imagine what he's doing, he's bright enough to have seen that there's no alternative, so he's saying, well, let's go for a United States of Europe because it's the only thing that will work. So when all the other things don't work, he says, well, at least I chose the only thing that would have worked if you'd ever have gone for it, so I'm great. You never know with politicians. This is Rebecca Wilder, who's now changed, and she's gone over to write for Economonitor. But that doesn't interest you, probably. But she's the one that pops up with these wonderful charts. And for some reason, I'm attracted by the name Rebecca Wilder. But that's my problem. What is competitiveness? We heard about it earlier. It's an important part of the euro area leaders' negotiated terms in the July the 21st summit announcement that we heard of earlier by the European heads of state. The first paragraph, fourth paragraph and 11th paragraph of the announcement all refer to this issue of competitiveness. But what the stinking heck is it? And she goes on to tell us. And finishes with this, which sums up what she was saying. In 2011 and 12, Germany ranks 6th out of 142 countries in a report, where 95.8% of the 142 countries are less competitive than Germany. See, that's what I like about Rebecca Wilder. She doesn't not just happy with 6 out of 142. She's got to work out the percentage of countries that are below Germany. 95.8. Also ranked below Germany is every euro area economy except Finland. So when German finance minister, and they got their wording into those documents, says that he wants economies to increase competitiveness, he is effectively saying that he wants economies to be more German. From the bottom up, countries should reform their education, financial markets, business sophistication, innovation, etc., all the while emulating those institutions in Germany. I might do a little report on the Hart Act, the new Hart labour laws in Germany. How proud of the Germans are they of the Hart labour laws? Not very, if they were being honest, I'd be sure. Better put, being asked to increase competitiveness is really a scam to get these economies to become more German. If I were Italy or Spain or even Ireland, who, by the way, is very open but less competitive according to this measure, I'd have a problem with that, and so would I. Especially if Rebecca does. And this is the report that she's talking of, the World Economic Forum committed to improving the state of the world, and the Global Competitiveness Report 2011. 150 odd PDF pages stacked full of information, which I must admit that I did like quite a lot of. So I've pulled some out for entertainment. Government budget balances, general government budget balance as a percentage of GDP 2010. East Timor kicks ass with a positive 236. These are, we're so used to deficits, but these are non-deficits, surpluses. Kuwait, obviously, Azerbaijan, Qatar, Norway, Brunei, Angola, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Singapore and Hong Kong. So the big oil exporters, and really turned on exporters like Singapore and Hong Kong. So they're the positive surpluses. Bottom of the list, 132nd, Egypt. Then India, these are the bottom of the list, Spain, Japan, Greece, Botswana, United Kingdom, United States, Cape Verde, Swaziland and Ireland. Got to admit that's a bit funny. And exports as a percentage of GDP. Hong Kong and Singapore, the big exporters there, but they're only little places. So they're obviously very large exports as a percentage of their GDP, and will be harmed greatly, as I was talking yesterday, in a slowdown, because it's the exporters that get hit the largest when it comes to that sort of thing. So all of these on this list are very vulnerable if there's a global turn down. Hong Kong, Singapore, Luxembourg, Puerto Rico, Belgium, I don't know what Belgium's doing in there, Ireland, Malaysia, Hungary, Netherlands and the Slovak Republic. Right, this is the UK PMI, which came out in those flurry of PMIs, and look at it, it's turned up, which is extremely bad news, because those children running the United Kingdom at the moment will think that they're doing awfully jolly well, and will keep on with their keep right on till the end of the road austerity shit. And finish with the Telegraph in the United Kingdom and Ian Cowie's article, National House Prices Fall. National house prices fall as prime London prices soar skyward. And this is what we're going to see more and more of, because this is the world that we're living in now. There's us and there's them. Them are doing all right. The owners of capital, money, are doing very nicely. And the owners of us, the owners of our labour and intellectual labour, are not doing very well at all. Our price is going down, and they've got lots, and they can bid up their prices of their glorious mansions, etc. That's it. See you tomorrow. Bye.